Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we will be making a Midori inspired traveler's notebook cover like this one that I shared with you guys in my previous video. And I did see some of you guys comment that you would like to see me make one on camera, so I will do that. And not sure if I'm going to make it one whole video or if this video is going to be in different parts. So right now we're going to focus on the cover, and I'm using this faux leather wide ribbon from Hobby Lobby, and this is by the Ribbon Boutique, and this is a really pretty rose gold. And I have a paper collection in mind that I want to coordinate with this, but we'll get to that when we start doing our planner inserts. So for this notebook, I want to cut a piece of this off at to measure 9 3/4 by 8 1/8. So let me get my guillotine paper cutter. So I will go ahead and put this in here. Let's see. First off, let me just make sure. So yeah, this is about 8 1/8 wide. So we're going to cut this 9 3/4 long. So I am just going to slide the material through here and measure it out to 9 3/4. I'm going to hold it taut. So I have my material cut, and this is basically how and I'll make this the back since it's got a little, and this is basically how how large the book will be. So yeah. So once you have the material cut, then you are going to find the paper that you want, because this is pretty flimsy. So I found that matting this with the coordinating cardstock that I want to use on my notebook was the best option for me. So I am going to show you guys what paper I will be using, and that is the Havana collection by Prima. Prima has beautiful papers, and so it's really easy to just choose one of their collections because all of their paper is so beautiful. So I'm just going to choose which paper I want to show on the and I'm hoping I have enough of this paper, because this paper I had purchased from scrapbook.com, and they only have so much of this collection left. You can buy the single sheets of this collection. So I believe I will go with, I'm thinking this, but maybe I want to do this. Yeah, I think I will mat this to go on the inside, just to show off that rose gold some more. So I'm going to cut this to mat on top of my book. So for this, I will cut this, let's see, because I want to leave like an 1/8 of an inch border around there if I can. So I will cut this to mat at 8 by 9 5/8. So I'm going to cut it to 8 here, and then I'm going to cut it to 9 5/8, which is the mark right past the half inch mark. Okay. So this will look like this, and it just gives a tiny little bit of overage if I cut it right. Yeah, so just barely a little bit of overage, and I did that on purpose. I think I'm going to trim just a tiny little bit more off of here, just a tad bit. Yeah, just a slither. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to go over it one more time. So I cut the cover, the fabric cover, at 9 3/4 by 8 1/8. And this one that I'm going to mat on the inside is cut at 8 by 9 5/8. And it's up to you. You could choose which side you want to show. Either side looks good, but I think I am going to have this side showing because I love that pretty blue and that rose gold, so we're just going to go with that. So the next thing you want to do, we're going to be using the heat and bond material that looks like this. It says Ultra Hold, and we are going to go ahead and cut a piece that measures 8 by 9 5/8. Okay, so I did cut a piece. It's not perfect, but it is a piece that is large enough to cover on the back of our rose gold faux leather. So I'm going to turn it over and see how flimsy it is. This is some sort of like a fabric-y material. So I am going to take the piece of heat and bond, and the paper side should be facing up, and this side that looks textured is the part that you need to heat down on your project. So I'm going to be using my daughter's little iron here, and hopefully it's warm enough. And I am just going to start here, and I jumped the gun a little bit. I was supposed to heat this material up a little bit before I place this down, but we're just gonna roll with it now. And I'm just gonna place this on here just for a couple seconds, just trying to make sure every inch of this is heated really well. And then we will cut off the excess from around the perimeters, and then we will peel off the backing of the adhesive, and then go ahead and adhere our cardstock to the center. I may try to round the corners just a tad bit before I put the cardstock on there. I'm going to see how this turns out. I like a little bit of a rounded corner. It just makes it look better. Looks a lot more finished like that. I mean, but they do have them without the rounded corners. It's just all about your preference. And I'm just basically just heating. And I'm going to go over it again. I know it, the instructions, you should definitely follow the instructions on the heat and bond. But because this little iron, it doesn't really get very hot. It gets warm. I just want to make sure that the material is adhered and the backing is ready to come off. So I'm just holding, and I'm just going to continue to do this until it's all bonded. Okay, so I went over the whole piece with the iron, and now I'm just going to use the scissor and just cut off the excess, and I'm going to try to do that without messing up my cover. Go on this side as well. Okay. Alrighty. So next, I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna use my 1/4 inch punch. Corner rounder, and I'm going to attempt to round these corners before I peel the adhesive off. And I'm using the 1/4 inch. I'm just hoping it'll. So it punched somewhat, so I'm just going to take the scissor and just clean off that area. So like that. So I'm just going to clean that up. So again, I'm going to just clean that up. I think it just makes the book look a little bit more, it makes it look a little bit cleaner. Alright, so now that I got those corners taken care of, I am going to go ahead and peel off the backing. Okay, so now that our corners are rounded, I also went ahead and rounded the corners on the cardstock. So I'm just going to use my pick tool to see if I can lift the paper backing. Off of the piece here. Alright, so that has been lifted. And I am just turning it over again. And let's see. I'm going to do it like this. Okay, so this is the way. So I'm just going to fix the cover over, fix the mat over top of the adhesive on the cover, and just fix it how I want it. And again, I'm just going to use the iron. And I am going to heat it up, and I'm praying that, you know what? I'm going to grab a piece of wax paper or something, or baking paper, so that I don't get that adhesive on my iron. So I have some non-stick parchment paper right here, and I'm just going to tear off a small piece and go ahead and put it on the top of here. And I'm going to start by heating each piece up. And I'm just going to slowly work the iron until I get every part of this heated. And I'll be right back. Okay, so I've ran the heat all the way around, so it's very sturdy now. And what I did on the last one that worked was I just kind of creased it in the center to find my middle, just like that, and then I opened it up. So pretty much this gives me my center line, which makes it easier when I'm ready to punch my holes. So this is going to be our cover. So I'm going to keep this parchment paper. So that's pretty handy dandy to have. So I have a pencil here, and I'm going to use my ruler. And so I know this is my center line here. And so this is my center line here. So I'm going to line my ruler up at the 1 inch mark. And I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm going to mark 1/4 of an inch in. So this right here is 1/2 inch. So this will be, you may not be able to see it. That's my first 1/4 of an inch mark in. So I'm going to put my ruler back, and then I'm going to mark another 1/4 of an inch. So this is for my 2 holes. So I'm not sure if you can see that. So this is the first hole punch here, and this is the second hole punch. It's kind of hard to see, but I can see it. And that's where I'm going to punch out my holes. And I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing to mark my holes. And it just makes it easier to crease my booklet over to find the center line right here. And I'm going to line this up right here. And again, I'm going to come in at 1/4 of an inch, which is right here. And then from there, I'm going to go to the 1/2 inch mark, which is right there. So it's going to be a hole punch here, here, and then here and here. And then and so this is going to be the back of the booklet, and I'm going to also punch a hole in the center of the back of the booklet, and that'll be for the string that I use to keep my book closed. So the way I did that was I pretty much, from here to here is 1 inch. Okay, so if this is 8 inches, this will pretty much right here be like my center point of my book. So about right here, and you can measure it to be accurate, about right here is where I am going to punch for my string for the binding. So let me grab up my strings and my punch, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I didn't have any of the thicker elastic cord in pink, so I'm gonna try to make this thin one that I get from Dollar Tree. I'm trying to make that work, although I wish I had a thicker like rose gold color one, but we're gonna try to make this pink work. And so we're gonna go ahead and punch the holes, and I'm using this little tool that I share with you guys. And let's see, I think I still have paper in there from when I last punched. Okay, so it's already got the tip that I'm going to use on there, so I just load it up and position it directly over where I want to punch. Push down, and then I just didn't do it hard enough, I don't think. So you can just reposition it, and it punches it out. Just use the pokey tool to get that fabric out, and that's what you're left with. Perfect little hole. So for my thread, my cord, I'm just gonna take a good amount of cord off of here. And with these, you can always, so how I'm gonna measure this is I'm just gonna go here and I'm gonna loop it around here. I'm gonna loop it back up here, and then I'm gonna loop it back down just to make sure that I am giving myself enough elastic cord, and then I'm gonna cut it. Okay, so this should be enough to thread my book here. And I forgot I need to add my little eyelets. So I need to add my little eyelets here. So that's what I'm going to do. So I have my little eyelets here. I'm going to turn my book over and go ahead and push this in. And I'm sorry, you guys. Sorry ahead of time, because I know this is going to be a long video. I'm going to take my crocodile, and it's still set for the let's see, I thought it was okay. So I'm going to set that for the small eyelet, and I'm going to give it a punch. And so I have my, this will probably help my thread go through the holes easier as well. So I'm going to push this other one right through here. And go ahead and punch that one into place as well. Okay, so now we're going to try our threading again. So I'm going to line up the two loose ends, and the loop, I am going to go through the top hole through the back of the notebook cover. I'm going to pull that through. Then these loose ends here, I'm going to stick them through the second hole, pushing them in through the back. Like that. Okay. Alright, so now we're on the inside. So now I'm going to take these two and thread them through this third hole down from the inside. Then I'm going to turn the book over and thread them back through the bottom, through the outside. And it does help to have that. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Okay, so then I'm going to pull this without letting it come all the way out, and I am going to, probably should have gave it a little bit more wiggle room, but I didn't. So then I'm going to go out, back out through the back here with those two. Actually, I'm only going to take one through, and the other one, I'm taking one piece, and the other one I'm just going to thread through here if I can get it through. I'm going to use my pokey tool and just poke that through. And for the most part, y'all, this is like real time, so for the most part, I'm sorry if it's taken forever, but I just wanted to show y'all the process that I did go through. Alright, so now I got those loose ends. Alright, so now I'm not sure if you can see this, but I'm going to come in a little bit to show you here. So this is both of the loose ends. One is through the loop the first loop, and the other one is on the outside of the loop. And that's how we're going to knot this so that it stays together. And this is the part where I said that I want to get some of those little, I don't know if they call them bead clasps or that kind of cover the knots. But this is a little, wait a minute, I think I just pulled it out. Okay, it's a little tight. I wish I had a thicker cord. And I'm going to knot it one more time here. And I'm just going to pull that knot as tight as I can. So if it comes through, if the knot comes through, see, it's still knotted. So just like that. So since I have that pulled as tight as I can pull it, I'm just going to just basically, and I kind of like this on the outside, but it really doesn't matter. So I may alter my notebooks to be a tad bit shorter than the last book, but so this is it all stringed up. Let me come back out wide. Okay, I might have to cut some of this out. Hopefully I won't, but I might have to. Okay, so let's take some more of this and cut a piece to use. Now this is a really thin cord, so I may have to, so the loop, so I put the cord together like that. The loose ends will be on the inner side, and the loop will be here. So you want to close your book down, and you want to thread this around, and you want to make sure that when you tie the knot that it is going to be, you know, snug enough to keep your book closed. So if I can, this is enough right here. So now I need to tie a knot. But the thing about this really thin cord is being able to make a knot that is big enough so that it won't go through your hole, because my hole is bigger than the width of my elastic cord. So that is the thing. So I'm trying to make a double knot here, and I am not the best at tying knots. Okay, so I want to go down here. Let me see if I can put them knots together. I'm gonna have to find some thicker cord. Let's see. Now, I might have made it a little too snug here. Hopefully it'll hold with my booklets in it. So this is what it's looking like. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this off just a little, but I want to leave a little bit that way. I can just make sure. I don't want that knot coming through there for sure. Alright, so that's our cover, everybody. I know this was a long, drawn-out video, but this is the cover. So I'm going to do part 2 for the inserts and accessories. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Sorry if it was a bit choppy. Feel free to comment below, and if you're not subscribed, please click the link to subscribe for more videos from me, and I'll see you in part 2, making the inserts. Bye.